Hey guys, I thought I'd do another video today just because I think this is worth repeating. I did a video about Ivory Soap about maybe 2 years ago. I'm just guessing. Sitting right here at this same table, and I started the video outside, sitting on the porch like I normally do in the evenings, but we've had so much rain and the mosquitoes are just flying around everywhere. They were starting to eat me alive, so I thought I better just come in here and do this video and tell you a little bit about Ivory Soap. And I never was what you'd call a big fan of any kind of soap. You know, if it's soap, it's soap. So I thought, but that's not the case. Ivory Soap is 99.4 or 99.9% pure soap. There's a reason I'm telling you all this. This has Irish Spring. I use it too when I'm showering, whatever, but it has deodorants in it. So I'm going to tell you about the Ivory Soap and why I'm a big fan of it. Back when I was younger, I've been married 3 times, so third time's a charm, they say, and I think I've been married to Mrs. PIB 26 or 27 years, and I'm really, really happy. But before I met Mrs. PIB, my second wife up and decided she wanted a divorce. So at that time, my son was probably about 5 or 6 years old, I'm just guessing, somewhere in that age, real young. And I was working like 10 or 12 hours a day at a factory welding. So I had a 1975 Chrysler Cordoba. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those cars, depending on the age, but Chrysler Cordoba is a good car. Wasn't much to look at by the time I got the car, but I mean, it was a good car. And anyway, I was at work one day, and one of my co-workers come by and told me, said, your gas tank is leaking gas. And I thought at first it was a joke, and then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, maybe I better go outside and check, because I didn't want somebody to, flip a cigarette or, anything like that and cause my car to blow up or hurt anybody. So I quit welding and went out there for just a minute just to see if my gas tank was leaking, and sure enough, it was. Had a pinhole and it was leaking gas, So I thought, oh no, my shift is not over. I hope I have enough gas to get home, But the point I'm trying to make is I had enough gas. It's just dripping. And I went to my grandparents' house, my grandmother and my grandfather that used to own the 62 Impala Chevy. They were babysitting my son. He was, as I said, 5 or 6 years old. And they were watching him while I worked, because my ex had kind of flew the coop, so to speak. So anyway, it was pretty much all on me, just me and him. So I went to my grandmother's house, and normally I would sit there for a few minutes and talk to them and, pick up my grandson, and we'd go home, and my grandson and I, make supper, do whatever, homework, give a bath, whole 9 yards that you have to do with young children. So, wash clothes, clean house, everything. So I was at my grandmother's house to pick up my son, and I called her Granny. And I said, Granny, I said, I can't stay but just a second. I said, I've developed a gas leak in the gas tank on this Chrysler I'm driving. And I said, I don't know how it happened, just, I guess, a weak spot in the gas tank, whatever. But, it started leaking. And so my grandmother, I said, I don't know how to fix it. I said, I can't afford to get a new gas tank. I really don't know what I'm going to do, but I need to get home as quick as I can. And she said, son, she said, go in the bathroom and see if you can find me a bar of Ivory Soap in the bathroom, on the shelf. So I never did question my grandmother about anything. If she told me to do something, I done it. And so I went in the bathroom and I found a bar of Ivory Soap. So, I went back into the living room where she was at, and I said, Granny, I said, I found the bar of Ivory Soap, but to be honest with you, I didn't have a clue why she wanted a bar of Ivory Soap and her being in the living room. So she said, son, let's go on out here on the porch and we'll walk down here to your car. And she said, bring that bar of soap with you. And I said, yes, ma'am. So we walked down through there and got up to my car, and you could smell the gas, leaking out. And she said, son, she said, open up this bar of Ivory Soap and take it out of the wrapper and everything. She said, crawl up and under the car. And I was already dirty and stunk from welding. I'd, sweating all day. Must have smelled like a wild horse to begin with. So anyway, I got the bar of Ivory Soap out of the package and crawled up and under the car, and I finally found the pinhole, or, where it was leaking, crack. I think it's a pinhole, might have been a small crack. Anyway, she said, now, son, she said, get that Ivory Soap and rub it on that pinhole. I'm going to call it a pinhole. Pinhole as hard as you can, just up and down, just cram it in that hole as hard as you can, kind of cake it up there real good. And she said it'll stop your gas leak. So I'd never heard of that, but as I said, I never questioned anything my grandparents told me. So I crawled up under the car, as I said, found the hole, and I rubbed it on there and caked it on there pretty good. And sure enough, it had stopped. It quit leaking, and I got out from under there, and of course I wanted to hug her neck, but I'd already been rolling around in gas, and as I said, I smelled like a wild horse. So, I couldn't thank her enough. And she said, now, son, she said, you'll have to carry that bar of Ivory Soap with you in the car. She said, if it starts leaking, do the same thing you done. Just cake it up on the pinhole. And she said, it'll stop leaking. She said, you can't use any other kind of soap because it's got deodorants and additives in it. She said, the gas will eat through the soap like this one. But she said, Ivory Soap is pure soap. She said, if you'll use that, she said, this will get you by for a while. Because my grandparents were not rich anyway. I mean, I'm sure she wanted to help me, but they didn't have any money either. I was at the point in my life, to be honest with you, that I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. It was all I could do to pay the bills. And, as I said, all the divorce and everything and my wife just up and leaving me kind of took me by surprise. I was not expecting it. So anyway, I carried that bar of Ivory Soap, and I'd go to work every day. When I'd come home, I'd cram that bar of Ivory Soap. I'd put a little bit on there, even though it didn't need it at the time. It might be 2 or 3 or 4 days before I'd actually need Ivory Soap. It'd stay on there that long. But if I just drove the car back and forth to work, and to get groceries and this, that, and the other, like a normal person does on a paved road. I'd say if you lived on a dirt road or something, you might have to put it on more often. But I went to the store and bought me, like these packets here, a 3-pack of Ivory Soap. I always kept the bar of Ivory Soap in the glove box, just in case I need it. Kept one in the trunk. I didn't want to go anyplace unless I knew I had Ivory Soap. Because as I said, I didn't have the money to fix a gas tank. I didn't know how to fix a gas tank. Didn't know anybody that knew how to fix a gas tank. So anyway, I was just as poor as dirt. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you, if you have a Jeep or a 4-wheeler or a motorcycle or a truck or car, whatever, maybe your boat, you might want to carry some Ivory Soap. I carry Ivory Soap just to have on hand. You never do know when you might need it for an emergency. Like I said, that Chrysler Cordoba, I didn't have a clue I'd ever I've never even heard of a gas tank to just start leaking. But if anybody knows me well, strange things happen to me. So, and that was one of them. But I was just so proud that my grandmother knew this trick. I'm assuming she must have learned it from somebody or had the same thing happen to her. So, bless her heart, I was just golly, I was just tickled to get that because I was really struggling emotionally and financially. I was struggling. So this Ivory Soap really saved me. Sure did. I didn't know how I was going to get back and forth to work or anything. So it was a real good deal. And besides that, like I said in an older video, maybe 2 years ago or so, when I done the same video, uh, even if if your hands are dirty or something, you've got a bar of Ivory Soap. You can wash up. So I just always carry around Ivory Soap. It's good to have if you want to clean up or if you have a leaky gas tank in your car like I did. It might be worth. It's not expensive soap at all, and I use it all the time, and to wash up with. And sometimes I use this, sometimes I use that, but I always have this in a vehicle. So, and if you go four-wheeling, or I'm just trying to imagine scenarios that your gas tank might encounter a dent or something like that and might have a crack or a pinhole like mine did. You might want to carry some Ivory Soap. It's pretty handy to have around. And I didn't know if y'all knew that. Y'all might know all this. I don't know, but I didn't. So I'm real grateful to have that information. And once again, I thought it was good enough to pass it on to y'all. I hope that you found it informative. And like I said, I'm not endorsed by anybody. So, I like Irish Spring. I like any kind of soap that'll clean. But if you're going somewhere in a vehicle, you better, well, I carry this Ivory Soap. Pure, clean, trustworthy soap. Pure, clean. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you this. I hope you found it informative, as I said. And let me know if you've heard this before or if this is all new information to you. You just have to be in my shoes and know where I was at that point in my life. I was really, really struggling. So glad to have it. It's my friend. Anyway, if you don't care, please like and subscribe to my channel, Primer is Best. I have another channel too I just started called Chevy Trucks. And Chevy Trucks, it's 2 words, I should say that, Chevy Trucks. And Primer is Best. If you would subscribe, leave a comment, I sure would appreciate it. And also, I'm on Instagram, Primer is Best, and Facebook. Y'all have a great day. I hope you never have to use that trick for gas tanks or anything, but now you've got the knowledge. If you do get in a bind somewhere or out in the woods or whatever, now you know how to fix it, at least temporarily. It took me a while to save up to get that car fixed. So I used this for a long time, probably a year and a half, carrying around Ivory Soap. But at the time, like I said, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. So, okay, hey, y'all have a great day. Thanks for listening to me ramble on, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. I'll see y'all later.